So Malachi is selling pens and mechanical pencils. He's selling the pens for $1.50 and the mechanical pencils for $1.95. He has sold 95 items and collected a total of $171.75. Find both the number of pens and mechanical pencils that Malachi has sold. So first of all, it says write a let statement to show which variables you are using and what they represent. So it's a really important first step so that as we write the equation, we know what exactly it is we're talking about. So I'm going to let P be the number of pens sold. And I'm also going to let M be the number of mechanical pencils sold. So one of the things I'm given is this relationship about how many. And if I'm trying to write two equations here, I know one of them is if I take the number of pens plus the number of mechanical pencils, I know that's a total of 95 items that I've sold, right? P plus M is 95. It says that he has sold a total of 95 items, and there's only two of the items that he can sell, either P for pens or M for mechanical pencils. The other thing that we can write is an equation that represents their dollar value, and I know that every single one of these pens, right, is worth $1.50 when I sell it. So it's contributing $1.50 to this total here of $171.75. So the other equation I could write was I'm going to take $1.50, oops, not $7.50, $1.50 and multiply that by the number of pens. And similarly, I can take $1.95 and add that and multiply that by the number of mechanical pencils. When I do that, right, that represents the total amount of money that I've collected. So it equals $171.75. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with working with those equations exactly as they are. However, I'm not a fan of the decimals. So one of the things I can do is I can choose to multiply this top equation through. I'm going to multiply through by 100. And if I do that, right, I eliminate all of the decimals. So you can leave the decimals if you want to work with them, that's fine. I'm just going to multiply through by 100. And that just moves the decimal point two places to the right. So instead of 1.50p, this is going to become 150p. Plus 195m equals 17,175. So is that any better? I don't know. They're larger numbers, but there's no decimals, so you choose. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to isolate p, I think, in this first equation that I wrote down. So if I get p alone by subtracting m from each side of this, I can see that p is equivalent to 95 minus m. Well, this is now a perfect thing to substitute into this other equation. So I'm going to take this value, right, 95 minus m, which is p, and I'm going to plug it into this other equation where p was. So when we make that substitution, it looks like this. 150 times 95 minus m plus 195 m equals 1,000 or 17,175. And when I distribute this 150 through the 95 minus m, 150 times 95 is 14,250 minus 150m plus 195m equals 17,175. Let's see, if I go ahead and simplify that by collecting up my m's, 195m and negative 150m is going to leave me with 45m. So I've got 14,250 plus 45m, and that equals 17,175. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 14,250 from both sides. When I do, I get 45m equals 2,925. And then finally, I'm going to divide both sides by 45, and when I do, I believe that m would be equal to 65. So I think that I've sold 65 of the mechanical pencils. Now, I still need to figure out a couple more things, and I want to definitely check this before I'm positive. I do know now that the number of pens is pretty straightforward, right? I know my mechanical pencils is 65. So if I plug that into this equation, right, P, the number of pens, is 95 minus that 65 I just found. And 95 minus 65 would be exactly 30. So I think the number of pens sold, so I'll write this as 30. So I've sold 30 pens, and I've sold 65 of the mechanical pencils. And I can see that those two values do add up to 95. Right? The thing I probably should do is grab a calculator real quickly and just verify that 150 times that P plus $1.95 times the M is indeed $171.75. So you can use whatever calculator you have. I'm going to just go ahead and use this one. So again, I'm going to go, probably should move this over here. So it should be $1.50 times P, and P we said was 30. So 30 times $1.50 plus I should have 65 times $1.95. And when I press equal, you can see I do get $171.75. So this is a solution not because anything I wrote down on here looks impressive. There could very well be an error, but because 30 and 65 satisfies both of the initial conditions, I have a valid solution, and I don't need to try and find an error that I made somewhere. So let's move on to question 3.